welcome back. Today we are testing number 124. So let's get cracking. Got my meter. All right. So as you guys have started to notice, first we'll check the battery constant on everything. I want to get like a office meeting room table or something so that I can lay this out completely. I think that would be pretty dope. But anyways, dream big, guys, dream big. So here we actually have a lot of extra wires, 5 to be exact, in the gauge disconnect. So we'll go over that in a minute, but right now we're just testing everything. Flying leads is actually for, we've done it once before and the customer said everything worked out great. So this customer has a remote start in their car. So instead of them tying into these wires, we just left them a couple extra wires as flying leads for them to repurpose versus potentially damaging the wire. Just the little things that we can do for everybody. So, all right, cool. Battery constant. Yeah. All right. Moving right along. Boom. Cluster illuminates. We key on. Check all the key ons. Sweet. Got my mic. All right. So we keyed on. So we'll check all the key on. Dope. We got the key on here. Dope. Sick. This is an extra 30 amp relayed key on circuit that we've been wiring in because the harnesses are actually getting so big that we needed an extra one. If you guys are wondering, yes, I am taking job applications as a hand model. If you need that service, holler at me. Getting pretty good. Dope. Let's see. All right, so this customer has ABS. And what we do for ABS right here, it's a little wonky because the battery, we move the battery into the middle. I feel like that's going to work best, but I don't know right now. So for ABS, we can provide you as a battery constant and a key on for the ABS computer. So the ABS computer needs battery constant to retain memory and then the key on function. And then we have another key on function flying lead circuit for the ABS pump. So this is 2 add relays and then we throw in kindly the battery constant. That's what we offer right now for ABS. We don't offer any type of ABS system itself. We're looking into a few things, but everything takes time. So just understand that if you would like ABS, we can accommodate you with key on relayed circuits to activate your pump and computer, but we don't actually offer anything for the system itself. You can repurpose the E36 one. That's pretty straightforward. Or you can get an MK60. There's options. Let's talk about this customer has quite a lot going on for their gauges. They said, hey, I got 3 or 4 gauges, whatever the case. So we threw in a key on, threw in a battery constant just so they have it also. And then what we did is we put 4 blank wires, these green wires that are striped. And what they do is they go from the center of the dash area over to the fuse block area, which is behind the passenger side. And you can see those 4 wires again right here in your inputs and outputs. And what this does is this keeps all the wiring nice and clean in the loom so that you can communicate from your gauges over to where your ECU most likely will be behind the glove box general area behind the dash. So we did that. Always on a disconnect. We elongated it a little bit for them because they got quite a few things going on that they communicated to us. So we can check the brake pedal. Sick. See that on camera. Dope. do our starter. You know how I get down with these starters. I actually kept the pin from the last video. And let's see. Oh, dope. It just clicked in. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Throw out one of them Nicky Tune. Hell yeah. All right. Sick. This is going to be dope. Look how easy this is going to be. Ready? Let's see. Sick. Definitely need to charge this battery. All right. So we're on the X20. Let's stick with the X20. We'll bump out all of these circuits. So reverse lights. Oh, we got one. We got one shown. All right, sick. Boom. A little flick of the wrist. Got the reverse. We'll just verificate. Sick. Right? Tail lights, OEM stuff. Huge hassles. So let's go to a couple cool features on the OEM cluster here. We have your check engine light. We have your low voltage light. We have your low oil light. So next, because it's on the X20, we're going to go through the fuel pump. So the fuel pump, OEM location, OEM connector to switch power, which we talked about in the previous video. There you go. Now, you might have heard a bunch of clicking because this customer actually has 2 more fuel pumps that we wired into their trunk. Now, it's going to be a little crazy because it's in the trunk. But what we did is we wired in this Deutsch disconnect that sends the signal to this small fuse block. And this small fuse block actually gets power and ground and has these 2 flying leads for 2 more fuel pumps in the trunk. Now, as I was building this, I wondered, hey, how are they plumbing this? Not a clue. Couldn't tell you. But let's see if we can. It's tricky. I wish I had another hand. Here we go. Beautiful. All right. Let's get that other one. So this was 2 adder relays that we wired into the trunk specifically for their extra 2 fuel pumps. Now, if it's a lift pump or an extra fuel pump or a fuel cell, I have no idea. We don't ask those questions. We just need to know the amp draw, what you want, where you want it. Sick. So that's done. And as you saw, we wired it into a Deutsch disconnect right through the actual rear of the chassis harness. So it's all routed clean inside the harness. It's not some kind of like janky, like, oh, it's over here and we just had it branch out and run across the whole harness. Everything's wired in nicely. Everything's clean, quality work. Switch balance to the headlights. So running lights, you see it illuminates on the cluster. A little difficult to see, but you can get the idea of it. You have your trunk lights, which also disconnect, making it easy to route through the trunk. You have your corner lights on. This one's on. This one's on. That's what I mean. I kind of want to get like a meeting room office table. Just like lay this whole sucker right out on that Bad Larry and just, go to town. Show it off. Headlights, again, they're illuminated. I can show you. There you go. So you can just suck this up this way a little. There you go. Headlights on. Got that all good to go. Next, we will do the high beams. We were just talking about headlights. Let's do high beams. So I'll show you guys. You see the inner lights on. Inner light. Boom. Good to go. I can be rough with it. Let me be rough with it. You guys treat this like glass. All right. Treat it like your grandma. Treat it like something you don't want to be rough with. Okay. Like glass. Treat it like glass. All right. Let's turn this off. All right. Blinker. We have your driver blinker. Let's see. Oh, you shifted it. You can kind of see it. Boom. All right. Now we have, sorry, that was your passenger. This is your driver. Here's your driver. You see it illuminate on the cluster. And we have no illumination right here. See that? That should be blinking right here. So let's see what's going on. All right. So we have the blinker on for the driver's side. It's illuminating everywhere. except this front corner light. So what we're going to do is we're going to flick the bulb like you saw me do with the reverse light. All right, nothing at all. All right, so now what we're going to do is we already have our meter out. We're going to get our meter out, put it on volts. We're going to ground it, and we're going to start at the source. So this is the source. This is what needs power. Disconnect it and check. Let's see. All right, so we have power here. So that's good. Okay, so we have power here. So that means it's something in here. Now, if you check this and there is no power here, you're going to want to check the disconnect over here to the front. You're going to want to check the specific color blinker wire, right? You're going to check this. You're going to make sure the pin didn't pull out. It's actually seated correctly to the point where it clicks. But we're lucky enough that we figured out that it is something to do with this bulb holder. So I'm going to turn this off. So we know this is good. We have power here. So let's look at this. Everything's good here. It's not corroded. I don't see anything major. So let's pull it out. Nothing really stands out. You can kind of see in there a little bit. But I do notice the points. Let's see if I can get this really well. I do notice the points. See how they're like a little gummed up? I'm going to hit it with a pick real quick. We're just going to get a pick. Okay, and we're just going to scratch it up. Here we go. And clean up the point. It looks like there's some plastic on here, like the plastic melted on the bulb. Now the running light worked, so we know that was operational. So the bulb should be good. So let's see. If you look at the bulb, you can kind of see some shit on there, like some plastic melted. You see that? It's like some kind of something's on there. Whatever. Scratch it up. See how we just roughed it up a little? I wish this was coming out a little better on camera. Maybe I need a media individual. All right, so let's try this again. I'm not even going to plug it in. This is one of the many connectors where we build the pins in-house. So when you plug it in, hold the back of the wires and push in, and then you hear the click. All right, let's check it now. Still nothing. Okay. All right. Let's flick it. Let's give it the old flick of the bean. The filament. Oh, the filament's smoked. Sick. All right, cool. So we'll take that out. The filament was good. I checked it, but now it's bad. So let's throw a new bulb in. Money. So that's how you diagnose these things. You check the source. You check right at what should have power, and then you follow it back, or vice versa. You can follow it from the LED blinker relay out to the item that needs power. And there you have it. We now have the blinker operational again. So these things will happen. The cars are getting old, bulbs are getting old, sockets are getting corroded and nasty. You saw with the reverse, it just needed a little wiggle right here. I just, gave it a wiggle and it came right back. So these things do happen. You guys are referencing, this is the bulb we installed. It is an 1157. Get good bulbs. It's not too much, whatever. Or don't, it's your car, not mine. Sick. All right, so let's recap. Good. High beam illuminates on the cluster panel. We'll go over the hazards. Everything's operational. Everything's blinking. We have the wiper. I just saw that sucker. Here it is. My meter turned off. I always like to check to make sure the circuit doesn't have power. Not even the right switch. But it doesn't have power, and then when you activate the circuit, it receives power, and then you turn it off. and it kills power, right? That's important. DD, this is for a cooler system. It actually sprays fluid on, I think it was the intercooler and the rear tires or something. Something cool. Something you guys should probably have. There we go. Turn it off. Wiper, hazards. All right, so next we're going to switch over from switch power to switch ground. So I'm going to take the ground, and this is a launch control signal that his ECU will receive. So what we did is we just left it as a flying lead in the inputs and outputs. So when we activate this, my pen keeps jumping off. Sick. All right, cool. And then we also have anti-lag, which we wired into the OEM fog button. So again, that's a switch ground signal. We left it in the inputs and outputs. Sick. So those are some switch grounds that we wired in. Oh, we did the fuel pump. That's pretty much a wrap. This one was sweet. We had a bunch of different little things. We had the 2 fuel pumps in the trunk, and then we had the anti-lag and the launch control. We also added in extra blank wires that go from his gauge area to his ECU area. And that's a wrap. This one was pretty jam-packed because we had to add the extra battery power for the ABS computer. So pretty cool. I'm happy with it. Came out sick. Everything worked. We got to show you guys how to troubleshoot something that doesn't go perfect. And that's a wrap. We're going to call it. Thanks for watching, guys. This was sweet.